this week's exclusion from the annual defense bill of a measure to extend compensation for people exposed to radiation from U.S. nuclear testing marked another rupture in the Republican conference. The bipartisan amendment to National Defense Authorization Act overwhelmingly passed Senate in August, but was not included in House version of bill and was ultimately removed from final legislation. Co-sponsor Sen. Josh Hawley called its removal a betrayal of the nation's commitment to victims of such radiation. Proponents of measure point finger at Republican leadership, saying they are responsible for removing measure from NDAA. I still cannot understand why Republican leadership is standing in the way of providing support to American people who, as uranium miners, have sacrificed so much for national security, Sen. Ben Ray Lujan told The Hill. Purposes. He did not say who specifically blocked the measure in the Republican leadership. Hawley spoke more clearly. You have to ask Speaker Mike Johnson and Sen. Mitch McConnell told The Hill when asked why the amendment was removed. Democratic leaders Sen. He said that Rep. Chuck Schumer and Rep. Hakeem Jeffries were supportive and that he had not been given an explanation from Johnson or McConnell as to why the measure was repealed. From a moral perspective, this is obscene, he added. It's ridiculous for you to tell me that we have $1 trillion to spend on defense contractors. But we have nothing for the people of this country who are poisoned by their own government. Hawley said. The amendment would expand compensation for individuals exposed to nuclear testing and nuclear waste radiation and adverse health effects as a result of U.S. government activities. While these funds are planned to expire next year, these funds will be authorized for another 19 years with the change. The amendment would also expand compensation, making it available for the first time to people in New Mexico, where the atomic was tested in 1945, and Missouri, where uranium dumps contaminated Coldwater Creek, as well as Idaho, Montana, Guam and Colorado. Differences over the measure point to a source of division among Republicans. Three of the leading voices calling for reparations were GOP members: Hawley, Sen. Mike Crapo and Sen. Eric Schmidt. Of three, Hawley specifically blasted Republican leaders for withdrawing the amendment and also said he would seek to delay defense bill in response. He told The Hill he will push for every vote I can, and pursue every procedural hurdle. It is disappointing that there has not been a consensus on the specific details of the Radiation Compensation Exposure Act legislation that would allow it to be included in this year's NDAA legislation, Crapo said in a statement to The Hill. A spokesman for Crapo noted that a number of proposals have been floated among Senate and House leaders to try to reach an agreement on legislation that passed the Senate on a bipartisan